Hey, it's Soulful Sunday. We're still sitting here in the Las Vegas airport trying to get home. um, and we're having this like really an interesting conversation. Rob's crossing his arms because he's upset because he said he can't talk.
No, that's not true.
He's banned.
He's banned.
That's not
right? He's in
true.
timeout. Right? So Hala just said, hey, you know what? You said, hey, you know what? Take it from hey, you know what?
Sean, you know, what you have, what you do is transformational presence. And you said to me, you know, why did I say that? And what? So earlier we were discussing your ability to kind of walk in any place or talk with people and see beyond what the average person sees, what I would see, what Rob would see.
And it's kind of interesting because I can't see, right? Like, so that's
that is very interesting, by the way.
That's right. So you're able to see beyond the obvious, beyond what's there, and to take it to the next level. And it involves, you know, seeing and listening and all of that combined. So I was just thinking of what
feeling,
picking up on feelings, vibes, you know, the dynamics in the room, all of it, right? And taking it to the next step. Mm-hmm. So it's more than saying it's listening intently or level 3 listening. It's more than, you know, seeing beyond. So the word that came to mind would be transformational presence. So that's, in my mind, that's how I can define one of your qualities.
I appreciate that. And we were talking earlier on the plane today about like the idea of going into these different rooms. We had some pretty neat and amazing experiences, which we're going to talk about on Trajectory Tuesday last week and doing that. But just going in, it's almost like you're in this state of like a hunter or tracker would be. And how is calling that transformational presence, where you're absorbing and processing everything that's happening sort of on a like transcendent plane to create a transformation, like where you're in the space. And if all this sounds like gobbledygook nonsense, like we're dropping bombs all over the place making things happen, right? With integrity and with authenticity and with power and energy. Like this is real. You know, like we go, Rob, is it real?
It's real, yes.
How would you convince people that this isn't like us like saying just nonsense? Like that actually occurs. Like we're talking about an actual event. It's not like
so I'll answer that. So we were late for today's speech that Sean was the keynote speaker because we got delayed in New Jersey because of the weather. We get there and there's a guy, Ben, that has formed a relationship. Who, by the way, Ben Fox has watched Sean on YouTube for 2 years. Ben was the, I guess, the guy that brought you out here, right? Yeah. To that point, we were then able to gather the troops, and Sean gave a phenomenal presentation. After that, we went out to dinner, and in that dinner, one of the videos, there was a woman that spoke about how she wasn't going to drink the Kool-Aid, and after she saw Sean speak, it wasn't even about the Kool-Aid, it was about her being on a mission and now became a national presence for these good folks that have seen challenges where they're blind, and it's a little bit more difficult for them to get a job as a result of it. And Sean completely turned them around. Sean completely gave them what they needed to know that they can get a job. But at the same time, what came out of that was that Sean's going to be a national spokesman for exactly what this movement's all about into that section of the population.
Ecosystem.
Sorry.
So
Powerful.
that's it. Transformational presence.
My question, I have a question, because it's funny, because when we first started this, you know, Sean said, and you were describing his transformational presence, and he said, and I can't even see. My question to you, because you always talk about feelings and emotions on a very, very high level.
Right.
When you were younger, 15, 20, 25, 30, when you were still able to see, did you always have that? Was that in you? The ability to connect on an emotional level, was that something that was always part of who you are?
Sure, I mean,
based on the way you came up?
And now if we can get into like really,
because that's important.
A whole nother complicated series of discussions, the simple answer to your question is, not like I can now, but probably uniquely so.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Was there something that was natural for you at that early age?
Yeah, I mean, just being real, yes.
Yeah.
But it can be honed.
Of course, yeah.
I think I was raised by, in a lot of ways, not raised by, but had a very consistent feminine energy presence, right? I had my mom, my Aunt Denise, Aunt Barbara, Aunt Diane, my grandma Rose, Nani, which was my mom and dad's parents. So there was a lot of feminine energy going on. And then I had strong masculine energy, you know, from my dad's and from my grandfather, Pop. And so that was there, but there was a lot of empathy, like in my family, because my grandfather was blind. So just from a young age, I just felt what people felt, you know, and I think it was developed though, right? Because my grandfather had this condition, and he'd sit in a room and he'd be talking, and nobody was listening or not paying attention. Sometimes, and I would, my heart would be like breaking. I was like 6, so I would always find a way to like get in and make sure I was taking care of him, like making sure he was like, you know, he would say blah 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 blah, and I would respond, so he had somebody to respond with. You know, so maybe it started there, but you know, also my aunts and everybody was always very concerned with everybody's feelings and not hurting people's feelings. And now some of that can be a challenge, right? But that's the subject for a different day.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of it comes from that gathering feminine energy, right? And by the way, feminine and masculine energy don't necessarily mean it comes from a man or a woman,
Yeah.
right? But there's that energy that listens, that empathizes, that gathers, right? And yeah, so I would say I think I had that, but I've worked hard at developing it more. And now, yeah, I could really, you know, feel, and I'm not referring to a metaphysical level, but really just feel the energy, you know, feel what's happening. Pause, you know, pause is energy, words are energy, movement is energy, right? All these things, and yeah, and I could feel and I understand what it means. You know, I could walk into a room. We're going to talk a lot next week about what happened last week, which is some crazy stuff in rooms with very powerful people, and how I was able to go into that room and understand everything that was going on and really see outcomes that matter to help everybody in that room. But sometimes to help people, like they need to know who you are, but to help people, they need to know who you are. To get to know who you are is complicated, because if you do it wrong, then they don't want to know who you are, even though you can help.
Yep.
So right, let's say, and I had some conversations with some of my friends from Platt, right? You know, I won't name them, but you know, you knew who they are. We'll tag some of them maybe in this. That was interesting. That like, well, why are you saying like you're great at this, at influencing? Like why do you have to? You know, is there a significance issue under that? And I'm like, well, no. I mean, maybe somewhere, but the primary reason isn't for significance. It's to contribute. Because if let's say that I could help Rob wants to play golf, and I can help Rob hit a golf ball 350 yards. And he's like, yeah, man, I just want to get better at my golf swing. And I'm like, yeah, let me try to help you. Yeah, let me try to help you. Why is Rob going to listen to me? Right? You go, oh, okay. Like, but if I go, hey, Rob, I can hit a golf ball 350 yards, and here's what I learned, and I can teach it. Now Rob's going to listen to me. So if I'm in a group setting, and somebody's like, hey, I want to make the best cake in the world, I'm going to keep my mouth shut and say, yum, I'll eat it with you. I can't tell you how to make it. But if somebody's going to say, hey, you know what, I really want to grow in like understanding how to present from the stage or influence people, lead, shift in, I'm going to be like, unless you're going to call Tony, right, then call me.
Yep.
Right, then call me, because I've never met anybody who could do it like I can.
Yep.
And that's the truth. So if I don't say that, if you don't say that about the things you're strong in or great at or the best at, then the people aren't going to pay attention and listen to you when they're right there and trying to transform. Or if you're on your feet, like Tony, you know, he's going to get up on your feet and tell you, I've worked with this, done that, da, da, da. He's saying that, so he's giving social proof plus authority to influence. So you listen, apply the things, and you get benefit results. So that's part of the transformational presence, is on dropping those bombs. But the fine point is, you have to think about how it's going to be received, but you can't think about, is everybody going to be happy? Because if you wait till everybody's happy and everybody's ready for that message, then it's never going to come out, right? And then nobody gets helped. And then you're hiding. So I think people are really lying when they're hiding, when they're not saying. So if you're great or really good at something, and you're not bringing it forth, and you're waiting till coincidentally it shows up, like, that's crazy. Because how is it going to coincidentally show up? So we're all sitting around here, right? What am I gonna wait till Rob and I golf together to tell him I can hit a golf ball for? How the hell is that gonna show up? It's not gonna show up, right? So if I'm great at coaching and influencing people, and somebody at the table that I'm sitting at, it's like, yeah, wow, you know, I get really confused because sometimes this happens when I communicate with people. They're not receptive and listening, and I think it's because of this. So they just said to me, I want help. I need help, right? That's what I heard,
Yep.
right? So what am I gonna do? Be quiet and not help them? I don't wanna do that. I wanna contribute and I wanna give. So if I had the capacity to help somebody, I'm gonna say, hey, I can help you. Here's why you should listen and believe me. Here you go. And you go, well, can't you just say, I can help you and leave it there? I disagree. Because people give bad advice all the time. And when people get the advice then, it gets diluted or not listened to or not received. So it's, I can help you, here's why you should believe I can help you, and here's the help.
And by the way, tonight.
At the right time.
Yes.
Okay.
So let me hold that thought, because tonight, when we went to dinner with everybody afterwards, a great setting, and it was almost like they accepted that they don't have a job, or that it's a hard. They had jobs.
That's
it's
something,
hard.
not them necessarily.
Yeah. It was certain.
The blindness community.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what I thought Sean did that was amazing, Callagy results formula, started talking about that on a very high level, reported it down as if we were all like in the sandbox. And he instilled a message in them and influenced them that that's just not the case. You know what I mean? Like
And I could have sat there and just been like, oh, well, yeah. I
no,
understand.
he challenged
I
it.
said, no, that's not true.
Which was
No
awesome.
way.
Yeah, it was tremendous actually. I mean, I thought that was like just watching that and their reaction and then the video afterwards and you know all that stuff, just boom, boom, boom. And I was sitting here with Sean tonight and he was talking about how, you know, that dinner and that video itself tied into a whole other ecosystem. And what I found amazing is that he was able to identify it and not just have the dinner and not just coach them up, but identify that next step as a result of that, which I thought was amazing.
Yes, and was, you know,
Truly amazing.
The person mentioned that they've had several, you know, speakers
Yes.
to address this issue and their feelings and their morale and all of it. And, you know, nothing resonated and
No, nothing resonated. Basically said they were, you know, terrible.
Yes.
And got no results.
it got no results, absolutely. And they were at a point where, you know, they thought today was going to be like, oh, here we go again.
Yeah. They thought I was going to get up and go,
Right,
dream big, work hard,
right,
like, go get them,
yeah.
right?
And what Sean does that's amazing, and I want everyone to know this from my perspective, what Sean does that's amazing is not only does he talk about the Callagy success formula, which is the math and science behind the success, however, his ability to connect heart to heart, emotion, soul, is like no other, period. Like no other I've ever seen. You combine those two forces with who he is and got us up for 23 hours straight,
I'm going to say with respect,
flying coast to coast.
other than Tony Robbins. Right?
That's fine from
Right?
your opinion. I don't know Tony on that level. So what I'm saying is, I'm witnessing this live. I could touch him. He's 3 feet from me. I'm sure Tony could do it too. But at the end of the day, I'm not comparing. I'm just telling you how I feel and what I see.
Thank you. Well, listen.
Absolutely, and the ability to zero in and focus on,
Like a laser.
like a laser, exactly on the pain point for people, and you know all of it is just really.
Oh, yeah. So, okay, right.
Yeah. Focus. That's a great point. This is what happens. We start elevating.
You know what? On these weekend videos, we're gonna roll them longer, right? This is not your daily, right? So let's see if people want this on the weekends or
Yeah.
not. That's cool, right? But we got a lot of good stuff. So let's keep chatting. You know, there's millions of dollars in value in the words we're saying. It's up to you if you want to keep watching or not. We do these short because people have short attention spans and short time, I guess, right? But you know, there's great stuff here. So
Yeah.
go ahead.
Let me
Yeah,
just finish
yeah,
that point
yeah.
on
Yeah.
focusing and the ability to, you know, what I find really interesting and captures my attention is the ability for you to focus and zero in on points with people that sometimes they don't even know how to articulate.
Yes.
Yeah.
and
Yes.
sort of getting that out of them. And, you know, the first step in identifying or making progress is being able to articulate,
Amen.
you know, whatever it is the issue is, the question is. So, you know, it's a unique ability.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And two thoughts come to my mind when I see Sean do that. He's not, and he'll be the first to tell you, he talks about his flaws first. He opens up first. He allows it easy for people to open up to him. What I find real interesting though is when he sees the pain, he's very, I don't want to use the word, but he's very direct, and that takes a lot of courage to do this. He's very direct at having an open conversation with someone regarding their pain. But only after he talks about some of his challenges too.
Sure.
And that's what I find very, very
Wow,
powerful.
I appreciate it. And so, like what we're talking about is I make mistakes every day by not adhering to the results formula in different ways. So it's not that there's flaws in the results formula. There's the challenge is adherence, which is self-mastery, right? And we all, every human on earth has challenges at times with self-mastery. I certainly do too. But I'm always trying to close that gap. But I would, you know, with certainty say that I think I live, you know, at the highest level I've ever lived, you know, thus far, on that scale of mastery within self-mastery. And I think it's pretty unique in the world. But it doesn't mean that I haven't made a ton of mistakes, and doesn't mean I didn't even make a mistake today and yesterday, you know. So, and I will tomorrow, and that's so will you and Rob and Hannah and Tiffany, right? And that's okay. But the question is, where are we in this journey of consistent growth, and understanding that growth isn't trying harder, right? Growth is learning a formula to bring about the results of your life. Watch the video with Rob, me, and Tom. If you haven't, that's the results formula. You're not going to get it in 10 minutes of this, or even 2 to 4 minutes each day during the week in the morning mastery. It's just not coming forward that way. So that's such an incredible opportunity. And next week, starting on Trajectory Tuesday, you're going to have an excellent Mastery Monday video. But on Trajectory Tuesday, you're going to hear a story that you're not going to believe. And it really happened. And over Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we're going to break it down. And we're going to discuss. We spent 4 hours on the plane today, 5 hours on the plane, breaking it down. Don't have that much time, you know, in morning mastery. But we're going to really try to I'm going to select some very specific highlights to share with you that if you're listening and I'll be delivering it, and if you're listening, it's going to blow your mind, right? Was that a mind-blowing story?
Absolutely.
Don't miss it.
Did you hear that?
Motivational, encouraging, and also inspirational.
Right. And just
Scientifically
unbelievable.
Yes,
right?
yes,
So,
yes.
Not to be missed.
thank you, Alan. Thank you, Rob. Thank you,
Thank
Tiffany.
you.
Thank you all for watching.
Tiffany, thanks for holding that camera.
Thanks, Tiff. And please keep connecting and sharing the message. Get it out there. We're trying to help people. We're connecting. We're building. We're growing. The mastery movement. And the mastery movement, right, is about creating transformational change. That's what this is about, right? That's what this is really about. As you influence influencers, connect ecosystems, like keep connecting people with this ecosystem. Let's form an ecosystem where people live life on a higher plane. We all do. We challenge each other. We support each other. That's what the Mastery Movement's all about. Have an awesome day on Soulful Sunday. See you on Mastery Monday. Thanks.